Wells is the smallest city in England. You can cross it in minutes. But when dusk settles over the cathedral towers and the marketplace empties, Wells stops feeling small. Because the silence here doesn't feel empty, it feels occupied. This is Wells. Welcome to Haunted Travels. Some places don't tell you it's haunted. You feel it when you arrive. Long before cathedral spires rose above this square, Wells was known for its springs. Natural water rising through the limestone rock. The city takes its name from them. You can still see the water bubbling at St. Andrew's Well at Bishop's Palace, where the springs surface beside the medieval palace gardens. In paranormal theory, though never scientifically proven, water is sometimes described as a conductor, a medium that carries energy. Many researchers study hauntings and have noticed the same pattern. Reported paranormal activity often appears near underground water, streams, rivers, springs, and beneath wells. Groundwater moves constantly, quietly, even when the city above it seems still. Construction began in 1175. The cathedral's west front holds hundreds of carved figures, saints, kings, prophets, all facing outward over the square. Not decoration, judgment. Inside the building reveals one of its strangest features, the scissor arches, massive stone braces built in the 14th century to stop the central tower collapsing. They look less like engineering and more like bones. Visitors often describe the same sensation here, the feeling of being watched, not threatened, observed. There are long-standing reports of footsteps echoing through the nave after closing hours, cold pockets of air near the choir stalls, and occasionally faint choral sounds drifting through the cathedral when no rehearsal is taking place. Unverified, but repeated often enough to become part of the cathedral's reputation. Beneath the stone floor, groundwater continues to move through the limestone, constant and unseen. Just across the drawbridge stands the Bishop's Palace, built in the 13th century, damaged during the English Civil War. Today it looks peaceful, gardens, towers, water reflecting the stone walls. But visitors have occasionally reported something else. A robed clerical figure seen walking near the chapel ruins at dusk. Others have described footsteps in otherwise empty rooms. Near the well pools in the garden, some claim to have seen a pale figure standing briefly beside the water before disappearing into the mist. No name, no confirmed identity, just stories repeated quietly over time. The moat reflects the palace perfectly, and reflections sometimes make familiar shapes feel slightly wrong. Opposite the cathedral stands the Swan Hotel, parts of the building dating back to 1422. For centuries, pilgrims visiting Wells Cathedral stayed here. Unlike many historic buildings, reports of unexplained activity here have been publicly acknowledged. Guests and staff have described a tall male figure seen in the corridors late at night. Footsteps on the staircases when no one is present. Doors opening without visible cause. Former management described the activity simply as persistent, but not hostile. No named ghost, just reoccurring experience. A medieval building standing across from sacred ground, above the same underground water that runs beneath the cathedral. A short walk from the cathedral lies Vicar Close, built in the 14th century for cathedral clergy. It is often described as the oldest continuously inhabited residential street in Europe. The street is perfectly aligned, Identical stone houses, narrow windows, chimneys standing like sentries. At night, perspective shifts strangely. The far end appears further away than it should. Visitors sometimes mention shadowy figures between the houses. Others describe a sudden chill that seems to settle across the street, even on a warm evening. No documented hauntings, just atmosphere. But sometimes atmosphere is enough. Just outside Wells lie the caves of Wookey Hole. Archaeology confirms human presence here, stretching back thousands of years. Folklore tells the story of the witch of Wookey Hole, a woman supposedly turned to stone inside the cavern. Geology explains the rock formations, but caves have always inspired fear. Dark amplifies sound. Water drips endlessly. The ancient spaces rarely feel empty. The surrounding Mendip Hills carry another legend. The Lantern Man, a wandering figure seen holding a flickering light, said to lead travellers off the safe paths. No evidence confirms this story, but mining accidents were common in these hills, and stories often grow where lives were lost. Wells does not advertise itself as haunted. It does not rely on spectacle. Instead, it layers history quietly. Sacred springs, medieval stone, Civil War scars, pilgrimage, rebellion. Centuries of stories whispered through narrow streets. A ghostly choir reported in the cathedral shadows. A robed figure near the palace moat. Footsteps repeating in the hotel corridor. Beneath it all, water moving slowly through limestone. History does not vanish, it settles. It settles into buildings, into streets, into places where the past never quite leaves. This is Wells, and whether you believe in ghosts or not, you feel something is here. Because some cities grow outwards, but Wells seems to hold inward. Places that hold their past tightly enough can start to feel inhabited. This has been Haunted Travels.